The senior senator from New Mexico.
Madam President, the substitute amendment contains the Appropriations Committee reported versions of 3 bills: the Military Construction and Veterans Affairs, Agriculture, and Transportation, Housing, and Urban Development. I rise today as the chair of the Agriculture, Rural Development, Food and Drug Administration, and Related Agencies Subcommittee. And I just want to urge all of our colleagues, all of them, to support the agriculture bill that the Appropriations Committee reported out on a unanimous and bipartisan 28-0 vote. The fiscal year 2024 Agriculture Appropriations Bill provides nearly $26 billion to continue the important work of the U.S. Department of Agriculture and of the Food and Drug Administration. This includes support for American farmers and food producers, protections for our nation's food supply, and investments in important conservation and clean water programs. As we drafted this bill, our subcommittee made difficult decisions on how best to invest taxpayer dollars in line with the agreement forged earlier this year by both President Biden and, I would point out, House leadership. And I am proud of the incredibly collaborative approach taken by Ranking Member Hoeven to make this a truly bipartisan bill. Our subcommittee held substantive hearings. We considered nearly 3,000 requests from our Senate colleagues, and we worked in an incredibly bipartisan manner to address all of the ways that these agencies serve our nation and our constituents. Every single state, including my own state of New Mexico, has farmers, families, rural economies that will benefit directly from the investments in this legislation. At the core of this bill is our commitment to ensuring that families can put food on their tables and that no child goes hungry. The committee reported bill includes $6.3 billion for the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, or WIC. It safeguards the enrollment of over 6 million women, infants, and children across this nation in this vital nutrition program. And we will continue to monitor the impacts of rising food costs and the increased participation of families in WIC. We must deliver on the goal of providing every eligible family with the full benefit that they need to keep healthy and nutritious food on their tables. Few federal aid programs garner such broad bipartisan support as WIC, and I am confident that my colleagues will continue to sustain this essential program just as they did when you, as the presiding officer, were chair of this Appropriations Subcommittee. And equally important, this bill fully funds the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program and child nutrition programs so that kids across the country will continue to receive healthy school meals. Children should be able to focus on learning and growing, not on the worries about when or if they will get their next meal. And this bill also provides a $20 million increase for the Food and Drug Administration to support its mission of protecting the safety, the security of our nation's food supply. As we head into another winter flu season, see potential new upticks of COVID cases, this bill will ensure that FDA has the resources that it needs to keep our nation's drug supply safe. This bill maintains our support for vital agricultural research and our nation's next generation of researchers through funding for both the Agricultural Research Service and the National Institute for Food and Agriculture. These funds support scientific discovery at land-grant universities and research centers all across this great nation. These programs protect our nation's current food supply and ensure the long-term viability of American agriculture. I'm also pleased with the $922 million that we provided for conservation efforts around the country. In the face of a rapidly changing climate and the weather impacts that has, It's essential that our farmers and producers have access to technical assistance and tools that they need to implement best practices on their working landscapes. Importantly, this bill makes key economic investments in rural America as well. Many rural communities, including in New Mexico, are burdened by a lack of affordable housing as their housing stock continues to age and construction costs increase. The bill provides over $30 billion for rural Americans to achieve home ownership, the majority of whom will be first-time homebuyers. It also fully funds the Rental Assistance Program, which provides a lifeline for many low-income families in rural communities. These funds are coupled with almost $2 billion for business and industry development to increase job growth and revitalize rural economies. Finally, this bill underscores our commitment to global food security by maintaining funding for vital international food aid programs. These programs support developing countries and provide for the donation of U.S. agricultural commodities. As conflict and climate threats around the globe contribute to rising levels of famine and poverty, these programs demonstrate our nation's leadership in the fight against world hunger while also building new markets for our agricultural exports. The agriculture portion of this minibus appropriations package is a bipartisan, comprehensive bill, and I am proud to see it before the full Senate for consideration. And I want to take just a moment here at the end to recognize the members of our subcommittee and all of their staffs for both from the majority and the minority for their incredibly tremendous efforts to negotiate this bill. And with that, Madam President, I would yield the floor